Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJ City UK lab. Now if you're a Traktor user, it's probably fair to say that updates have been a bit thin on the ground over the last year or so. There have been bug fix updates and so on, but really since stems, there hasn't been much in terms of new functionality added to the software. And that's fine, you know, stability ultimately is the most important thing, but of course, when other platforms are really evolving very quickly, it's always a bit frustrating to feel like you're maybe left behind. But now we have Traktor Pro and Traktor Scratch Pro 2.11 or 2.11. At the time of making this video, this is in public beta. I'm using a public beta version, but I suspect by the time you see this video, it will be out and just available to download for anyone who's got a Traktor license. You can download and update for free to the new version. So one caveat there, if you're going to use the public beta, if you've seen this early enough, then of course don't use it in the club. That's not what betas are for. Wait for the final release before you do that. But yeah, it's worth looking at because there's some cool stuff in here. Firstly, we have new compatible hardware with Traktor Scratch Pro, in particular with the DVS side of things. We've got the Allen & Heath Xone PX5, which I have here at the lab on review at the moment, so I'm not going to go into any details on the mixer right now, apart from the fact that, yeah, this is now Traktor Scratch certified with 2.11, and it's smooth, it's seamless. Plug it in, USB, Traktor assigns the channels, the DVS all works fine, as smooth as it can be, perfect. Also, Pioneer stuff, the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s are now compatible in HID mode, they're in the controller manager, they're ready to rock, and the DJM 900 Nexus 2 is definitely compatible. I've tried it in the club, it works fine, you've got the two USBs on there, so again, this is just gonna work seamlessly for you, and that's nice to see. So when it comes to new features, there is some notable stuff in here. Firstly, we have Ableton Link. That is now available as it is in Serato DJ. I checked that out in the public beta for Serato DJ 1.9.3. So that's in here. You've got a link button at the top, hit link, and it just starts. And whichever one was playing first becomes the tempo master. And this means you can synchronize your BPM and beats and bars with Ableton Live, with iOS apps like iMachina, with Serato DJ. You can have Traktor and Serato DJ synchronized together over Wi-Fi, Ethernet, over just the same computer. You can have both apps running on the same machine and synchronize them together. This is very cool stuff. I'm so pleased to see Ableton Link being adopted because it's a very straightforward system. There's no messing around. It just kind of works, and that's cool. One thing with Traktor, their sync system does not have beats and bars. It just has beats, unlike Serato DJ. So occasionally you might find yourself needing to resynchronize the downbeat in Traktor, and there is a keyboard shortcut to do that, and I'm sure you could MIDI map that as well. But yeah, so it's not quite as straightforward as with Serato DJ, but it's good enough. And again, this is more simple than any kind of MIDI sync or anything that we've had before. Now, speaking of linking Traktor to other stuff, one popular thing over the years has been to synchronize Machina, the full Machina, and Traktor over MIDI and have step sequencing running with Machina. So you can run drum lines or whatever over the top, just with a nice simple step sequencer. And that's been really popular with guys like Richie Hawtin, like Dubfire and so on in that techno scene. But it's useful in other genres as well. You know, if you want to do a re-drum of a track on the fly, if you want to fatten up the kick, that's really easy to do with a step sequencer. You can do it with drum pads, of course, but ultimately you're going to rely on quantizing and so on. It might not be quite where you want it to be. Whereas with the step sequencer, you hit the pad when you want it to happen. You know it's going to happen at the right time, and it's going to stay locked and stay looping. So now we have an inbuilt native solution within Traktor's remix decks. Now, people have hacked ways to actually do step sequencing with remix decks again for a long time. There's been DIY projects, you know, DJ Tech Tools had the MIDI Fighter Twister. This has got a built-in step sequencer in there to actually sequence the remix deck files. And now we have it built into Traktor. So what we have, let's just get it going basically. I'll just play the deck and we just hit Shift and Remix on this Control D2. We can now see we've got the lights going through and we've got 8 steps there. We can increase the number of steps up to 16. Or down as short as we want to. There's 16th note steps, and let's just go in and just start off with a kick, for example. So I'll just turn that up. So that's my kick. Nice and straightforward. You can add some swing to this, but you know, if you just want to keep it locked on, you can do. We've got snares in there. And using this remix deck controlling hardware, you've got the volume faders on there. And you can pitch and filter each one. And you can also go through the different cells in that column and choose the sample you want. So we've got 4x4 and then 4 pages of that. So loads of samples to choose from. This is just a remix set with just a load of one-shot drums in it. That's all it is. Let's go through to the next one. Let's go to some hats. And you've got effect send on each one as well, as with a normal remix deck, but it's all just sequencing. And Traktor's sync engine is so good as well. That's the thing to remember. So even if you're playing on DVS and you're synchronizing this to vinyl control, it's going to synchronize really tightly. Their sync is great in Traktor. And fine, let's just add some. But yeah, you don't have to have percussion in here. You can have different sound effects, different noises. But this is it, it's really easy to use. And this is the thing for me, I'm not a massive fan of remix decks, you know, that's pretty, I've made that clear publicly, you know, there's too much preparation involved for me. It doesn't feel spontaneous enough. But this, you've just got a set of drums, load them up, and you're doing stuff on the fly. You know, if I want to do a fat kick drum and add that onto what I'm playing and synchronize it to that, I can do. If I want to add a snare line, if I want to do a quick, you know, snare roll or something, really easy to do, just really easy to just fire up all the pads and then control them. Do your own kind of build-ups and so on, get some tension and release in there. And it works with the D2, with the S8, and with the Control F1 as well, so you can use that old Control F1 you've got. It's another use for that. Beyond stems, you can now use it with the step sequencer as well. Obviously it works best with the screen there because there's no change to the display in Traktor itself, and it just works really smoothly with this stuff, with these displays. But ultimately, yeah, this is cool, right? This is a very cool version of Traktor, and I'm really excited to see that, you know, Native Instruments have not forgotten about Traktor. They are doing some new stuff, and this makes me excited for what's coming, you know, in 2017 and so on. Traktor 3, I'm sure, is still around the corner, and we're all excited about that. But right now, they've brought some heat with this release, definitely. So if it's available and it's fully released, go and download it straight away, because it's great. If it is in public beta, we are very close to release. You might just want to hold off now at this point and just wait for that full release. But yeah, I'm really impressed. It's got me actually excited to the point that I want to play on Traktor this weekend. I'm looking at this and looking at my library and going, what do I need to do to get this library into shape so that I can use this on the weekend? Because this step sequencer stuff is really cool, and it's so well integrated, and I'm sure it'll only get better as well as time goes on. But as of right now, it works, it's smooth, and I'm excited for Traktor again for the first time, to be honest, in a while. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.